Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be doing a case-based question for 4 marks from the Cbse 2025 board paper, and the question is from the lesson Linear Equations in Two Variables. Now, a school is organizing a grand cultural event to show the talent of its students. To accommodate the guests, the school plans to rent chairs and tables from a local supplier. It finds that the rent for each chair is rupees 50 and for each table is rupees 200. Now the school spends rupees 30,000 for renting the chairs and tables. Also, the total number of items, that is chairs and tables together rented, are 300. Now in the first part of the question, they're asking you to write down the pair of linear equations representing the given information. Now here they've given you two things. One is they've mentioned that the total number of items, that is the number of chairs and tables together rented, are 300, and also they've mentioned that the rent for each chair is 50 rupees and for each table is 200, and the school spends rupees 30,000 in all for both of this together. Okay, so in order to form the first equation, let me assume that let the number of chairs be equal to x and number of tables be equal to y. Now we know that the total number of items rented are 300, which means x plus y is equal to 300. I have my first linear equation. Now in the second part, they've mentioned that the rent for each chair is rupees 50 and for each table is rupees 200, and the school spends 30,000 rupees in all. So that means 50x will be the cost of 50 chairs, of x chairs, and 200y will be the cost of y tables. Now together this is equal to 30,000 rupees. So that's my second equation. But I can simplify this a little bit by dividing throughout with 50. So I will get x plus 4y as equal to 600. Okay, so now we have answered the first part of the question. That is, they have asked you to write down the pair of linear equations representing the given information, which we have done. Okay, so now let's move on to the second part. In the second question, A part, they have asked you to find the number of chairs and tables rented by the school, which means we are expected to find the value of x and y. And how do we do that? We can find the value of x and y by solving the two linear equations, either by using the substitution method or by using the elimination method. Now in this question, let me use the substitution method. Now in the first part, they've mentioned that x plus y is 300. That's my first linear equation. And in the second linear equation is x plus 4y equal to 600. Okay, now from the first equation, from 1, I'm going to try and find the value of y, which will be 300 minus x. Now let me substitute this equation, substituting 4 in 3. Okay, so 3 was x plus 4y equal to 600. Where there is y in this equation, I'm going to replace y with 300 minus x. So 4 times 300 minus x is equal to 600, or x plus 1200 minus 4x is equal to 600, minus 3x is equal to 600, minus 1200, minus 3x will be minus 600, or x will be 200. So now we found out the number of number of chairs is 200. Now let me substitute this value x equal to 200 back in equation 4. So y is 300 minus x. Y is equal to 300 minus 200, which gives me the value of y is 100. So the number of chairs rented is equal to 200. And number of tables rented is equal to 100. Okay, so we've answered the second part to the question as well. Second question, A part we've completed. Now, if the school, in the second part they've said, if the school wants to spend a maximum of rupees 27,000 on 300 items, that is tables and chairs, then find the number of chairs and tables it can rent. Okay, so now initially when we solved the question, we had formed two equations. The first part we have taken x plus y as 300 and also the cost of both the tables and the chairs together as 30,000. But now in this part they have reduced the cost to 27,000. So let's rewrite the two equations in terms of the new information that is given. Okay, so this is the B part to the second question. Here they have mentioned that x plus y is still 300, but 50x plus 200y is now equal to 27,000. Now the school decided to spend 3,000 rupees less on the tables and chairs together. Okay, now let's divide throughout with 50 again. So I'll get x plus 4y as equal to 540. Okay, so this was my first equation and this is my second equation. Now let's use the elimination method and solve it and find the number of chairs and tables that it can rent for 27,000 rupees. So this is 300 and x plus 4y is equal to 540. Now let me subtract the two equations. When I subtract, the signs would change and I would have minus 3y as equal to minus 240. Or the value of y would be minus 240 divided by minus 3, which is 80. Now let's put this value y equal to 80 in x plus y equal to 300. So x plus 80 is equal to 300, or x will be 300 minus 80, which is equal to 220. Okay, so the number of tables and chairs that it can rent for 27,000 rupees is, number of chairs is 220 and number of tables is 80. Okay, so we've answered the B part also to the second question. Now in the last part, they're asking you to find out what is the maximum number of tables that can be rented in rupees 30,000 if no chairs are rented. So they don't want to rent any chairs, but just the tables. Okay, so just tables. So that is number of tables. And we know the cost of one table is 200. So if I divide 30,000 divided by 200, I will get the number of tables it can rent. Okay, so that will be 150. So maximum number of tables that can be rented for rupees 30,000 is 150. If you have a math question that you'd like me to cover, drop it in the comments and I'll be happy to do a video just for you. Also, if you like my video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.